Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say thank you to the guests for showing up today. Since I only have 5 minutes, my first question is going to be a yes or no. Does D.C. have a crime problem? Mayor?
When Byron Donald stood up and asked a simple yes or no question, does D.C. have a crime problem? The officials' evasions were revealing. It wasn't grandstanding, it was accountability. For too long, city leaders have framed public safety as a policy debate rather than a moral urgency.
Mayor Bowser?
Any crime is too much crime, Mr. Crane, but we're trending in the right direction.
Sorry, just yes or no?
It's not a yes or no question.
Okay. Chairman Mendelson, does D.C. have a crime problem, yes or no?
There is more crime than we want, but it is significantly
All right, I'm moving
less.
on since you can't follow the instructions. Attorney General, does D.C. have a crime problem, yes or no?
One crime is one too many. We got to keep working at it.
Mr. Jackson?
One crime is one too many, I agree.
Thank you. Do you guys know where D.C. ranks amongst U.S. cities in crime? Mayor Bowser?
In what category?
Crime rates.
You would have to be more specific, and I don't
It's okay.
have a list
It's
of
okay.
other cities.
You guys
or
actually
states.
rank number 7.
Okay.
So you're in the top 10 of most violent cities in the United States, and this is, as other members have pointed out, our city's, our nation's capital. A lot of people come here. And Mayor, I know you, like many of my colleagues have already mentioned, you got a very tough job, and we all appreciate that.
It all depends on how you crunch the numbers.
Hold on a second, I didn't ask you a
US News and
question.
World Report didn't
Has
place us in
crime
the
gone
top
down?
25.
Hey, hold on a second. I'm asking the questions here. Has crime gone down since the president deployed the National Guard and other federal agencies? Mayor Bowser?
I already mentioned, Congressman, the numbers during the federal surge.
So it has gone down?
It accelerated, yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mendelson, you said in criticism to the National Guard being present in D.C., you said that they looked bored. I'm going to ask you a question, sir. Would you rather have National Guardsmen standing posts around D.C. looking bored but driving down crime, or continue to be ranked in the top 10 in the country in violent crime?
Well,
with
as
no
I was
guardsmen?
trying to say, depending upon how you look at the data, we don't even place in the top 25. Now, in my testimony, I outlined
That's definitely not the
ways-
reporting that I've seen. You
Well,
guys are
US
ranked,
News
you
and
guys are
World
ranked number
Report.
7. You
U.S.
guys
News
are
and
ranked
World
number
Report,
7.
you can see that study.
All right, moving on. Councilman Mendelson, did you vote with the rest of the city council to defund the police by $15 million in 2020?
I don't believe that's the correct amount, but I did
Yeah,
vote
you
for the
did.
budget then.
You did. Okay, Councilman, did you call the police in July 2025 because of a protest outside of your home?
I called 911.
Okay,
It was at midnight. In fact, it was 12:30 in the morning.
right?
And it was a
Okay.
number of individuals who were actually breaking the law, the Residential Tranquility Act, with how
Right.
loud they were.
Okay, so you voted to defund policing by $15 million in 2020 with the rest of the council. This is what the police union, police officers had to say about your
I
interaction
know what
with
you're
the
going to
police.
say, and I've already said
Yeah,
to Mr. Pemberton.
well, I'm going to say it, so you're not going to interrupt me. Over the weekend, Chairman Mendelson called the police because there were peaceful protesters at his house, because he decimated the police department with horrible legislation, and our staffing has now 800-plus vacancies. There was a delay in responding to his home. Because of the delay, Chairman Mendelson called and screamed at OUC and MPD staff. There is now a permanent security detail at his home staffed by an MPD officer who should be handling more important matters. We currently have 3,100 total sworn members, the lowest in 50 years, and we now have to dedicate one of them to be a security blanket for a man who hates cops, while other people calling 911 for real emergencies will have to wait. This nonsense must end immediately. So that's what the police department had to say
No,
about you in
police
that
union,
incident.
not police
The
department,
Yeah, the
sir.
police union, the union that
I'm aware of that
represents police
statement,
officers.
and it's false on
Do they
numerous
represent police
points.
officers, Mr. Mendelson, the police union?
It's the union
Thank
president.
you. Okay, Attorney General Schwab, do you agree that all legal measures should be on the table to combat crime and lawlessness in the city?
I do.
Okay. Then why historically has the D.C. Attorney General declined to prosecute crimes? According to media reports, D.C. declined to prosecute crimes in 67% of arrests in 2023 under AG Graves. The D.C. quarterly clearance reports from your office show a similar trend in 2025 through Q1 and 2. You are only prosecuting 53% of gun-related homicides, 50% of sex abuse cases involving a knife, and 37% of non-fatal shootings. There is also an ongoing investigation into if the DC crime data was manipulated under Joe Biden so that historic level of crime didn't look as bad on paper. And I look forward to the outcome of this investigation. Now,
Mr. Crane, if I can
going back to your
can I answer your
initial
question?
answer, is that doing everything you can to protect this city?
The statistics that you just read are the statistics not from my office, but from the federal U.S. Attorney's Office. The prosecution rates from the Office of Attorney General have been in excess of 84% for violent crime over the last 2 years. So the statistics you rely on to malign my office don't come from my office. They come from the federal U.S. Attorney's Office.
So you're prosecuting all of these crimes, is what you're saying?
The jurisdiction of the Office of Attorney General in the District of Columbia is to prosecute juvenile delinquency crimes, and last year we prosecuted more than 84% of the violent juvenile crimes that MD brought to us. We prosecute every violent crime where we have sufficient evidence to meet our burden of proof. Kids need to face consequences and be held accountable, and we are doing that. The rates speak for themselves.
Are you in support of moving the age of minors here in D.C.? That's one of the bills that we have this week.
The residents of the District of Columbia, the 700,000 of us who live here, know more and care more about how we're going to make our city safe than anybody else. You
didn't answer my question.
The residents of the District of Columbia and their elected officials do not believe we're going to make ourselves safer.
Why do you think the rest of the country? Why do you think the rest of the country considers somebody at 18 years old no longer a minor? Yeah, what is it here in D.C.?
The age of anyone younger than 18 is a juvenile in the District of Columbia, just like the rest of the country.
Don't you guys consider people that are 20, 25 and below minors?
I think you
And the gentleman's
misunderstand
time's
the law, sir.
expired, but feel free to answer that, General.
Well, I think you're misunderstanding the law, and I think you're referring to the Youth Rehabilitation Act. But in our city, youth younger than 18 are treated as juveniles. The Youth Rehabilitation Act involves a totally different set of adult defendants in criminal cases and involves a different issue that the city has confronted. And I think that issue has been conflated in some of the laws that this body has put forth. And I really wish we could have had a conversation beforehand so we could have explained better what the YRA does relative to all of the other laws that we have in our city that we're working every day to help drive juvenile crime and violent crime down. Thank you.
So you support the Youth Rehabilitation Act? I think that was the question, one of the questions he was asking. Do you support that?
The question was whether or not
Do you support the Youth Rehabilitation Act? That's part of what we're
Chair,
repealing.
2.5 minutes over.
Okay, all right. Time's expired.
The truth is plain. Families in neighborhoods, small business owners, transit riders, ordinary people were paying the price for soft-on-crime experiments. That's what makes Donald's approach important. He forced a conversation away from talking points and back toward real outcomes. Look at the numbers. In the weeks after the federal surge that put National Guard and federal agents into D.C., violent incidents reported to the MPD fell substantially versus the same period the year before, in some analyses nearly halved for the surge window. And the city's own dashboards show year-to-date drops in several violent categories. Those aren't partisan claims, they're data. They show that when additional, organized law enforcement resources were put in place, violent crime metrics moved in a positive direction. CBS News Plus One. That's not to say federal intervention is a silver bullet. Independent reporting and experts caution that the picture is complicated. Some deployments targeted federal property and transit, some arrests involved low-level offenses, and prosecution outcomes varied, meaning short-term drops in reported incidents don't automatically resolve deeper causes. Responsible debate must acknowledge those nuances. Reuters Plus One. But nuance doesn't erase responsibility. Donald's called out a clear paradox, a council that voted to cut policing resources in past years and then demanded protection when they felt threatened at home. That's human and revealing. It shows how policy choices have consequences, often felt first by vulnerable residents. It's also a reminder that public safety is not abstract. It's the quiet of a child sleeping through the night, the business that stays open, the commuter who reaches home safe. Donald's also pressed on prosecution and accountability. When arrests are made but a large share of cases don't move forward, the deterrent effect is weakened and community faith in justice erodes. That's why enforcement and prosecution must work together. Police to arrest, prosecutors to present strong cases, judges to sentence appropriately. Where that chain breaks, public safety suffers. NBC4 Washington. If you want safer neighborhoods, the lesson from this hearing is practical. Prioritize proven enforcement where needed, invest in police staffing and training so officers don't burn out, and demand prosecutorial follow-through so arrests matter. At the same time, invest in prevention, mentoring, after-school programs, substance abuse treatment, targeted where data shows repeat offenders originate. That two-track approach, firm accountability plus focused prevention, is how you keep people safe now and reduce future crime. Byron Donalds did more than score a political point. He translated abstract policy fights into the daily reality of citizens and insisted leaders answer plainly. If you care about safety where you live, watch this hearing. Look at the local crime dashboards. Ask your representatives what they're doing to ensure arrests are prosecuted and police are supported. Call your council member. Share this clip with a neighbor. Demand results, not excuses.